Welcome back. Today we're diving into something pretty intense, a relationship dynamic that can feel amazing at first, but, well, it's often deeply misunderstood. You know that feeling maybe after a really rough patch, a bad breakup perhaps, where you just feel drained,
Mhm.
completely wrung out, like just flat. And then, boom, someone walks into your life and they seem like the answer to everything. They promise this whole new world. Suddenly you're getting all this attention, maximum attention, gifts you wouldn't even think of buying yourself, compliments that sound like they're straight out of a movie. It feels
Well, incredible, right. Totally different from before.
hmm But here's the thing, and it's crucial to grasp this right from the start. This intense rush, it isn't love. It's actually a recognized manipulation technique, some call it a love bomb. And that name fits because, like any bomb, the explosion might be dazzling, but the aftermath, that's where the damage lies. And really important point, this happens to men, it happens to women, it's not gender specific at all. Okay, so it feels amazing, but it's dangerous. How do you even spot it then? When you're in the middle of all that positive feeling, how do you know if it's this love bomb thing?
Right.
What are the signs we should be looking out for?
Well, there are some key characteristics that tend to show up, things that should make you pause.
Right. So let's talk about those. What's the first big one?
Speed,
Yeah.
just sheer speed, the rush.
Speed. How so?
There's no time taken to, gradually get to know each other, no short dates, just chatting, finding out about interests slowly. It's all about moving incredibly fast.
So like skipping the normal stages.
Exactly. The whole narrative is often, we're soulmates, we finally found each other. So the implication is, why wait? We should just dive in and go all in immediately.
And what does that look like in practice? Like what kind of things might they say or do?
Oh, you'll see big plans forming almost instantly, conversations full of, as soon as we live together, very early on.
Wow. Okay.
You might hear really possessive things quite quickly, like, I'm so glad I found you, you're all mine now. Or even demands framed as love, like, you should only spend time with me, think of all the time we lost living apart.
Demands. That sounds intense.
It is. And get this, sometimes proposals to move in together can happen ridiculously early, maybe even by the second date.
Second date.
Yeah. The justification is always something like, we know it's right, why waste precious time?
Okay. That speed is definitely a flag. And what happens if you try to, tap the brakes a little?
Yeah.
Say, hey, let's slow down.
Well, that's another key indicator. Trying to slow things down usually isn't met with understanding. There's often pushback, maybe even guilt tripping. That pressure to keep up the pace is part of it.
Right. So alongside this rush, what else? You mentioned feeling amazing.
Yes, that leads to the next thing, the pedestal. Suddenly, you're put way up high.
On a pedestal.
You're told you're the most beautiful, the smartest, the funniest, that you do everything perfectly, that life with you is just guaranteed success and happiness.
Even if they barely know you.
Especially if they barely know you. That's the striking part. They'll praise you like they've known you forever. Even with very little actual information about who you are, you'll hear things like, you're the most unique person I've ever met. Or comparisons designed to flatter, I've never known anyone like you. Or my exes, none of them were as wonderful as you.
Okay, I can see how good that would feel. Especially if you weren't feeling great about yourself beforehand. Who doesn't love compliments?
Of course, it's incredibly validating. But here's the danger with that pedestal.
Uh-huh.
While you're up there enjoying the view, feeling finally appreciated, you often don't notice that the whole thing is pretty unstable. It's built quickly, maybe not on solid ground. And the risk is, by the time you do realize how shaky it is, you might already be tangled up in something that's become really difficult to get out of. It's like a trap.
Okay, wow. So the speed, the pedestal.
Yeah.
What else keeps this intense focus going?
Constant contact.
Constant contact. So wanting to spend lots of time together, that sounds normal for a new relationship, doesn't it?
Wanting to spend time together is normal, yes. But this goes way beyond normal. It quickly crosses healthy boundaries.
How so?
It's not just about being together in person. It's the constant stream of messages, texts, emails, endless phone calls, nonstop.
Like they need to be connected 24/7.
Pretty much. And it doesn't really matter what else you have going on, your job, your hobbies, your family, your friends, your need for sleep even.
Yeah.
Your availability is expected to be 100% all the time. This love doesn't like to wait.
That sounds exhausting
It's not.
and controlling.
It can definitely feel that way. And it often works hand in hand with the next pattern, isolation.
Isolation. Okay, how does that play out?
Well, the person doing this needs to be the absolute center of your world, the single most important person, full stop.
So, what about friends and family?
They become an unimportant. Or worse, they get framed as obstacles or bad influences.
Oh, I see. So they kind of drive a wedge between you and your support system.
Exactly. It's a way to make you dependent solely on them. And dependence is, well, it's the easiest route to control, isn't it?
Yeah. So it might say things about your friends or family.
Mm-hmm. It can be subtle or direct. Things like, you didn't realize they were actually holding you back, or your family doesn't really understand you like I do, or even they secretly want bad things for you.
Wow. That's quite manipulative.
It is. The narrative becomes, I'm the only one who truly gets you, the only one who really cares. I'll protect you from them and explain all your past mistakes.
And I suppose if anyone questions the relationship.
Oh, absolutely. To prove their intense love and loyalty to you, they might create huge scenes of jealousy, really dramatic displays aimed at anyone else who seems to take up your time or attention.
Okay, this is painting a pretty clear picture. Speed, pedestal, constant contact, isolation. What's the final piece?
Ignored boundaries.
Ignored boundaries. So your own needs just don't matter anymore.
Essentially, yes. At this stage, your needs, your opinions, any boundaries you might still be trying to hold on to, they become completely unimportant. Irrelevant.
What happens if you try to assert yourself or disagree?
Well, your opinion likely won't count for much. And to get what they want or just maintain that control, their mood can switch on a dime. 1 minute loving, the next furious or cold. It creates chaos, emotional whiplash.
That sounds incredibly difficult, like walking on eggshells.
Exactly. And this is often where you might find yourself becoming, well, the term used is a beggar.
A beggar.
Yeah. Begging for a kind word, for a moment of the affection you were showered with initially, desperate for any positive gesture, just a scrap of attention.
And does that begging work? Can you win back the good version?
The really tough truth here is generally no. Once the dynamic shifts to this stage, trying to earn back that initial intensity usually doesn't work. You often remain in that position feeling like you're constantly chasing something you can't quite reach.
That's bleak.
It is. It's a very damaging dynamic.
Okay, so just to pull it all together, we've got the incredible rush being put high up on a pedestal, the demand for constant contact, the strategic isolation from everyone else, and finally your own boundaries being completely ignored.
Those are the core characteristics that often signal this kind of manipulative dynamic.
So what's the main takeaway then? If someone listening recognizes some of this, maybe even just one of these things in their relationship.
The message that comes through loud and clear from people who understand these patterns is critical, and it's stark.
Okay.
If your relationship feels like this, matches even one of these descriptions, it's not a sign to try harder. It's not a sign that things need fixing. It is presented unequivocally as a sign that you need to get out.
Put it out.
Escape as far and as fast as possible. That's the urgent advice.
Wow. No trying to work through it.
These aren't seen as relationship problems to be solved together. They're understood as fundamental signs of a dangerous manipulative pattern. The advice is clear. Prioritize your safety and well-being and leave.
That's powerful. These aren't just communication issues. They're serious warnings.
Exactly. There are warnings of danger.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How something starting so incredibly positive, so affirming all that attention, feeling so special, could actually be the setup for isolation and control. Why is it so hard to see the red flags when you're standing on that pedestal, feeling seen for the first time, maybe ever? It definitely challenges what we think intense connection should feel like, something to really consider. That brings us to the end of this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.